Here we are, finally, at the review for Stargirl, Chapter 6, Episode 6, just called Summer School, Chapter 6. uh, Welcome, guys, to LilBigMan Gaming, both new and old, and the YouTube world, all of you guys. Welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, the way how we do things around here, once I do that, we get straight into the synopsis, which is short and sweet. It says, Cindy and her new team makes their move against the JSA, and I said, and which leads to an epic showdown. This episode was good. This was the best so far. Just so far from the first episode to now, this was the best story. I want to say the perfect balance between story and action. It told enough story and had just enough action in it to keep you intrigued. So basically, coming out the heels of the last episode, they dealing with Eclipso. Cindy is finally ready to make her move. She got her team in place. It was just one more person she was going after, and it was it was Icicle's son, and she was going to go after his son, and I think that's the only person she needed in this episode before making her move. But yeah, so this episode basically deals with them trying to Courtney basically still trying to find out information on Eclipso, and she really questions whether or not if Pat still has told her everything. Pat pretty much is keeping stuff from her, but Cindy, she's ready to make her move. She's basically telling everybody's she basically got everybody ready, and she's going after she goes after Icicle's son, but she realized that in her attempt to try to persuade him, this lady, who I think his grandmother, she basically she knows what she was about to do, so she stops her dead in her tracks. She said, "Don't you dare." She said, "You get away from him. Don't you even come near him, because I know you're nothing but bad news and trouble." And she looked like she's basically telling her, "I can do what I want." And she was going to proceed past her anyway to go talk to the son, but she basically reveals that she has ice powers too, which makes Cindy go, "Huh, okay, that's interesting." And Cindy backs off. Courtney tries to find like a balance of life and superheroes, and so she ended up, and I think like her and Icicle's son, I forgot his name, they kind of have a thing throughout the episode. Eclipso makes his moves through this episode. He I think well, I'll get to that part. One thing I wanted to touch upon was Beth. Beth finally has a confrontation with her parents, and we actually get, I guess, done purposely. I understand, like that was one of the great things that was done purposely. With Beth going through this whole divorce thing with her parents, throughout this season with the divorce, you hardly seen her parents, and then I didn't realize after I watched this episode, I was like, that was deliberate, because they wanted you to really empathize. They wanted you to sympathize with her because they wanted you to see what she was going through. Us wondering where her parents was the same thing she was going through. She didn't get to see her parents either. So now they wanted you to be in her shoes and realize, oh man, dang, we wasn't seeing her parents because she wasn't seeing her parents. Pretty much, we was her, and she basically get into a confrontation with her parents because she's sitting there sad and depressed, looking at the picture of her and her mother and father, and they basically come around the corner and try to talk to her, but she was silent for a minute. They were trying to figure out what was wrong with her, and she basically tells them she can't do this. She can't do it no more and pretend like everything's okay and pretend like she doesn't know. And she basically reveals to them that she knows about the divorce papers and that she basically she want to know why. Why is this happening? Why is y'all? But they really don't have no answer for it. They kind of like hesitant. They said they like, they giving her, oh, it's like really complicated. This is something we didn't know you knew, so now this is something we really need to talk about. Like, this doesn't mean that we don't love you. The whole stick that people say to their kids when they get a divorce. But the thing I like about this, like their take on it, they usually you don't hear as much of a feedback from the kids. You do. And not all the time. I won't say not all the time, but sometimes you do hear feedback from the kids like this. But that's the route they went with. They showed Cindy being brave enough to really confront her parents and tell her parents that this is not okay. And we get that's when we get an elation, because I think this scene, in which I was talking about, when she's talking to both parents, they realize another little thing that you get to know about the parents is that they are like workaholics. Like, for some reason, they care more about their job. And in a situation like this, you would think like, okay, I might have to say screw work today, because we need to really talk about this, and we haven't really talked about this with her. She knows she's angry, and she wants to know. She wants answers, and the mother, instead of the mother, calling off of work and try to resolve this, she's basically like, you know what, I really do like have to get to work right now, and we're going to talk about this later when I get home. And they basically both agree, but I was about to say Cindy, Beth really wants to have this conversation, and they really don't have that in this episode. Because I think the next time they talk about this is Cindy. I said it again, Cindy. Beth surprising her father at his job, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I told you I have meetings all day. And she was like, I know, but I wanted to bring you this. And she brings like a book of ideas for different vacations and stuff to help fix the marriage. And this is another scene where Cindy, so I say Cindy one more time, Beth says that, because I think the father like brushed it off, was like, this is not really the time to talk about this. I promise your mother that, we'll talk about this when we get when she's here to talk about it with you. That we all sit down and talk about it as a family. And I think he said some other things too. And she's like, you know what? I'm not okay. No, it's not okay. Cause he said, oh, after he told some other stuff, he was like, okay, and he was like, she's like, no. No, it's not okay. I'm not okay with this. She calls them out. She calls them all saying that you guys rather focus on work than to focus on fixing your family and keeping our family together. Y'all care about your jobs more than doing that. And he basically doesn't have an answer for her, and she's just like, and he basically like gives her like this bland answer, and he again promises that they're gonna have this conversation again. Now, with that out the way, we're gonna move over to, I'm not really going in order, because I think the part I'm gonna talk to next is actually like the couple of the beginning parts of the episode, is where basically Cindy, she launches her team. While she's still doing recruiting for the Icicle Sun, she launches the team members. She launches other kids onto the Fiddler and the Fiddler son and the then I forgot the lady and husband's daughter, the one with the hockey stick, that she's pretty much like she got super dang strength. She got some super strength on her and agility, but she unleashes them like I think the Fiddler, harasses Yolanda at work, telling her, basically making innuendos that they know, he's seen her pictures. Remember, if you remember Yolanda in the first season, she was kind of like that in your shell, but if you talk her into it, she'll come out herself and do some wild stuff. And she pretty much, she got in trouble because she took some very not safe for work pictures, and and sent it. But then the whole school seen it, and then in this particular scene in this episode, he like, I seen the pictures. We all seen them. And she's like, and she gets, upset about this. He's like, if you're going to order something, order it. And he's like, and then he said, I know. And she's like, excuse me? I said, I know. I know what you did to my mom, what you and your friends did to my mom and dad as he leaves. And then Beth gets attacked by the again, I can't remember her name or the parents' name, but basically the football chick who got the super strain, Beth gets attacked by her, and she basically tell Beth that if she poor Beth perfect, she basically make suggestions about Beth life being perfect, and that she doesn't know what it's like to lose her parents and stuff. And Beth actually tries to tell her that she actually does know about it, and she said, and that's what she was like, oh no, she said no, poor perfect Beth. She said perfect Beth and her perfect family. How could you know everything? She did. She interrupted Beth before Beth could reveal that she actually does know because her parents going through a divorce. But she grabs her and threatens her, telling her that soon it will be her versus the nerds, and we're gonna see. This will lead into Cindy. Like I said, now time for me to finally say Cindy's name. She goes into recruit. She corners the single son again and tries to recruit him. But the way he starts talking to her about how she realized in her conversation with him that he wasn't going to be able to be swayed like the others. So because she tries to talk to him, and he basically said why, I forgot what she said to him, but she said something to him. He's like, how could, she said, I'm sorry about your dad. She tried to sympathize with him about losing his father, and he was like, "No, you're not. When your mother died, and when people try to console you about your mother's death, trying to do exactly what you're trying to do to me." He's like, "You wasn't sorry. Your exact words were, 'I'm glad she's gone. I'm not sorry. I'm glad she's gone.'" He said, everybody realized then that you truly weren't sorry, and you're not truly sorry now. He was like, she blows him off. She gets mad and blows him off, in which he gets angry because she realized she gets so angry that she actually put one of her hands behind her back and make one of her little knives come out because she was about to kill him. But then the art teacher interrupts because he had bumped into the guy earlier, and he saw his sketches of Courtney and realized that the boy was in love with Courtney, and he actually walked off with it, came to give it back, and she actually used Eclipso's crystal to affect him. So, and there's also a nice couple scenes with Shade. I won't get into it because I don't want you to see them, but I will say one thing. One of the scenes, one of the scenes will say he does is what happens in this scene gets him involved with Eclipso, because he tells her early in the episode that if she has any information about Eclipso, I think it was either in this episode or the last episode, he tells her any information. And her daughter finds out anything about Eclipso and the Black Diamond and its location, they call him. And there's an incident in this episode where someone gets hurt and put into the hospital, and she has no choice because she is afraid for Courtney and her daughters, and Courtney and her friends and stuff, because somebody also gets kidnapped and used as bait. Because we finally found out why. In this episode, you finally find out why Cindy wanted this particular person, and you find out, and you know, it was like a little nice little jokes, like not joke scene, but a little comedic scene where she confronts this person, and this person is like, "You think I would ever join you?" And she was like, "Oh, join us? Oh, no. Is she like, you're just like him. You have no powers and nothing like that. Why would we want you to join us? What could you possibly do? You're useless." She said, "But you are useful for one thing that we do need you for. I wasn't lying. You are vital to my plans and my team, but not in the way you think. Not member wise, but you're useful for bait." And so this leads to them spring into action, making good on their threats. They start attacking the different heroes. Like I said, somebody gets hurt and put in the hospital, and somebody gets kidnapped. And this leads to Courtney's mom calling Shay and giving him the information, which leads into like the climactic battle with Cindy's ISA and Courtney's JSA. They all fight each other, and like that fight scene was spectacular. I love the fight scene. That was like one of the best scenes of this episode, was the fight scene, because it was very well done, and I like how in the fight scene itself, the similarities. Like you have Cindy and Courtney fighting, and one of them would do something, and you will see that somebody else, either the villain or the hero or one of the heroes, are doing the same thing. They finish the previous scene with their fight scene, and then their fight scene leading to somebody else's fight scene, and that ending on that fight scene leads into the other person's fight scene, because they all doing the same thing at the same time. The fight scene ends. This whole scene ends with something happening that shouldn't happen, or that was a person was tricked into doing. Somebody died. Somebody did. Well, two people died, or one person for sure died, and one person probably died. Another person escaped, or two people escaped, and now Blue Valley is in the danger of a more dangerous foe, and another character's fate is left in the air because this character was hurt during the battle. If I were to give this episode anything of, I'd give it a full 10, because this was a perfect episode. Like I said, it was a nice, good combination of storytelling and action. Nothing was overstayed. Nothing was overwhelmed. I didn't feel like it was too much action, not enough story, or vice versa. I actually felt like this was a perfect blend episode. I would say this might have been, this is, like I said, so far this was the best episode of the season, just so far. And this episode was kind of better than a couple of episodes in the previous season. And the one, I don't know if I said this before in my older videos, but the one thing I do like about season 2 is that season 2, unlike season 1, the one thing I didn't like about season 1 at first was that at the beginning things were kind of slow. Like story wise, things move slow, but now this season they kind of rectified it. They kind of not only balance the blend of storytelling and action, but they also kind of make sure that the story flows nicely and actually has a point. It has points to them. But yeah, this episode was good. I liked it. Sorry this video came late, but better late than never. But if you enjoyed this video, hit that button right there in the upper right corner for all of my reviews. And if you enjoyed this video so much, you want to support the channel, as always, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become part of the family and the tribe. Acknowledge me. And hit that notification button so you get notified when I drop videos, because I still got one more review video coming. And also hit any one of these videos for more of my amazing content. But like I said, don't go nowhere, because I got that what if episode coming, and I heard it's a good episode. And it is a good episode. I don't know. Well, I just... Anyways, peace out. I'm sorry.